Hey guys, this is TK. Recently I came across such a situation where I need to configure policy NAT, and I would like to share that configurations with you. Here I have a web server, and this web server was moved from the old 192.168.1.0 subnet to a new 10.0.0.0 subnet. Server's old IP was 192.168.1.100, and now the new IP is 10.0.0.100. The clients that coming from 10.1.1.0, in this particular case I'm using the client 10.1.1.100, is still try to reach the web server using the old 192.168.1.100. So the requirement is to configure in order to let the clients to access the web server using the old IP address 192.168.1.100. However, the server admins need to manage the server using the real address 10.0.0.100, for example remote desktop. So what I would like to show you is that if I configure NAT and if I translate 10.0.0.100 to 192.168.1.100, just by doing that I can let the clients to access the web server using the old address. But what's going to happen is that the users who try to access the server from the real address are going to get denied, or going to get disconnected, because when the server responds back, the router that's doing the NATing is going to translate that address to 192.168.1.100. Say for example, if there's a web admin who try to do RDP session to 10.0.0.100, and when I have NAT configured on this router is going to translate the request respond coming from the server back to 192.168.1.100, and the session is going to fail. Now I'm going to show you that situation. So let me quickly show you my client and the server. So this is my client 10.1.1.100, and this is my server 10.0.0.100, the web server. So if I try to access the web server using the old IP address 192.168.1.100, I cannot. However, if I try to remote desktop using the new IP address, obviously I can, because it's connected. I'm accessing the server using the real address, so there's no configuration required to accomplish this. Remote desktop session is successful. So basically what we have right now is anybody can access the server using the real address, but no, the clients cannot send the web request to old 192.168.1.100 address, because that's no longer exists. So here on HQ router I'm going to configure NATing, and I want to show you what will happen if I just configure basic one-to-one NATing using inside source static. And my inside local address is 100, 10.0.0.100, and inside global address is 192.168.1.100. Now I'm going to make this an extendable entry. And also let me show you my interfaces. So 00 FA00 is my WAN interface, FA01 is my LAN interface. So this is where the inside source address is coming from. So if I do IP NAT inside and IP NAT outside on the WAN side. Also that since this address is not exist in our routing table, so if I check my remote router, I don't see a path to that particular address. So what I need to do is I need to generate a route towards to that that address, and I'm going to use a static route. Actually a static host route towards to null 0, just to receive all the requests to that address towards to the HQ router. And I'm going to advertise this in my EIGRP. So now I do have a path to that host route. So at this point, if I go to my client and try to access the web server, and it's successful. And if I check my NAT translations, I do see that my inside local 10.0.0.100, it's been translated to 192.168.1.100, and this is on port 80, and the outside address where the client is coming from is 10.1.1.100. so outside local and outside global pretty much same thing, because we are just doing the inside translations. Okay, so this is fine now for the clients. So the clients can access the server now using the old IP address. However, the administrators who wants to access the server using the real IP address, let's see what's going to happen to that access. So now if I go back to my remote desktop session, I no longer can access the remote desktop using the real address. So let me show you what's exactly happening here. Is that if I capture the traffic, this is my client, if I capture this interface over here and if I make a connection to the remote desktop, wait until this fails, okay, and let me show you what happened. Let me make a filter. Okay, so you see that the client 10.1.1.100 tried to access port 3389, which is remote desktop, on the server 10.0.0.100. However, the response, see that the SYN from the client to server went correctly. The SYNAC coming from the server came as a translated address 192.168.1.100. However, in this case, the SYNAC is actually coming from a different IP address, so the client is not going to respond with an ACK for this particular SYNAC, to this particular SYNAC. So in order to resolve this issue, we need to do policy NAT. So policy NAT, what I need to specify is that I only need to translate port 80 traffic and not any other traffic. So for that, I'll create an access list. This is the service IP address. I just need the port 80 traffic coming from server to be translated. And I create a route map and apply this access list. So what I need to do is, let me clear NAT translations. And remove this NAT configuration totally. And then apply it back with the route map of NAT. So now it's there, and let me see, just make sure that I can access the server 192.168.1.100. Okay, I can access the server using the 192 address. The remote desktop session also works. So at this point, the NAT configuration is only applicable for port 80 traffic, and all the other traffic is getting it's not getting translated, and so the server administrators can access the server using the real IP address. Let me quickly show you the configuration. We have the NAT inside and outside defined, and then we have an access list specifying the port that you need to be the service that you need to be translated, and you apply that to the route map, and then on a static one-to-one translation, you apply the route map into that translation. Alright, that's all. Thank you.